Welcome to Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. I'm your host, Sadia. This is my mother, Ima. Hey, Ima.
Oh, my little sweetness. Hey, you know something I was thinking? We should have some sort of jingle, like introductory music. What do you say? Like some sort of, maybe I can come up with some sort of song I can compose.
I was thinking about that. I tried that. I think I tried to do an intro type of thing. I'm not sure. I think I tried it once. And the thing is that it just took too long. And I wanted to play the music and have it fade out. And it was too complicated. And it felt like a headache, but I can try it maybe some other time.
I'm going over to my piano right now.
Okay.
Let me think see if I can think of something expressive to fit the moment.
This magic moment.
Here we are.
I think that's copywritten. Isn't that supposed to be something else?
Was that Laurel and Hardy's theme or something?
Da-da-da-da-da. I think so. Yeah, that's Laurel and Hardy, I think.
Yes, I'm gonna have to come up with something more expressive and appropriate. When I was in high school, me and some friends were goofing around, and we came up with some really kind of funny songs.
Oh yeah, like what?
Okay, here's one of them. Dirty rotten bum, big fat stomach and face like scum. You no good, dirty rotten, no good, dirty rotten bum. DRB, that is the biggest jerk I ever did see. You no good, dirty rotten, no good, dirty rotten bum.
Yay.
Wow. Then there was another one we came up with. My baby wears combat boots. My baby wears combat boots. Ready, boom, 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 boom. My baby wears combat boots.
I never understood that. I remember reading a Garfield comic and someone using it as an insult saying, your mother wears combat boots.
Yeah, I heard stuff like that. I don't know what...
I don't know what that origin or what the point of that is.
Well, when I used to teach in the inner city, I saw this one kid came up to another to insult him. He said, your mother was on welfare. I don't know why that was an insult, but the other kid got really mad and started beating him up.
Oh, wow. Jeez Louise. Yeah, so apparently your mother wears combat boots is another way for telling somebody that their mother is ugly.
Yeah. You know, what is it? You kids came up with the one about, you remember that song, You're Ugly. You're ugly. Your mama said you're ugly. You're ugly.
Don't be mad. Don't be sad. Chelsea Clinton is just as bad. I think that's what it was.
That was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You and your brothers and sisters came up with that one. You sang it for Bubby Rena. She thought it was hysterical.
We didn't make it up. That was like a common kids song that they had.
I thought you guys made it up.
No, we didn't make anything up.
Here I give you all this credit for your creativity, and you disappoint me.
Yes, just a giant disappointment, aren't I? Yeah, no, there was that one. There was also oh shoot. Shoot, Tic Tac. There's this, I don't know, there's this one song that was like a whole long thing of saying that your breath was bad and whatnot. It was just like, shoot, I'm forgetting it now. I don't know it. I don't know it until I forgot.
Well, then there's the one, what about being so fat that your mother's so fat last time she wore a yellow raincoat, somebody hollered, taxi.
Oh, yeah. That's
that was the one kids came up with.
That's your mama joke. No, we did not come up with it.
You did not come up with it?
No.
Again, you disappoint me.
How many things you think we made up that we just copied from somebody else?
Aha, plagiarism. You plagiarized somebody else's jokes. My goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious. Yeah. I saw on the family WhatsApp that your sister forwarded, somebody found years ago, I don't know when it was when Mayor Koch was the mayor of New York, they found a Saturday Night Live intro episode where it was St. Patrick's Day came out on the same day as Purim, like it's coming out this year.
Yeah, that's exciting.
That was pretty funny though. The St. Patrick's Day thing.
I'm trying to remember if we talked about this in the podcast, but like, you didn't have anything for Purim when you were growing up, did you?
Yes, well, being non-religious Jews, but we were affiliated with a synagogue that's known for being modern Orthodox in Baltimore, a very old modern Orthodox synagogue. And my parents, they had some really nice children programs on Purim where they would have a puppet show. Then they would they wouldn't read the Megillah for the children because the children they felt were too young to sit through it, but they would have like a whole puppet show presentation, and then they would give us all out Humantashen at the end. That was fun. And I remember one time saying to a friend of mine, the adults would be upstairs listening to the Megillah reading, and the children would be downstairs for this really nice children's program. So one time I said to a friend of mine, let's go upstairs and see what's going on with what the adults are doing. And I thought I was going to see something like the adults were shaking, Rosh Hashanah, the raggers, and making noises, maybe being dressed up in costumes. And to my shock, it was a small group of men that were just sitting there quietly, listening to the Megillah reading. And every time they mentioned Haman's name, they just very quietly started to shuffle their feet or kick their feet a little bit. Like very, very boring. And we heard about Shalach Manos, we knew what it was, but we didn't take it seriously. We didn't know that people really did that.
Yeah.
And what I like about the shuls now is that for Megillah reading, I like the way shuls today include the children, and the kids are all dressed up, and a lot of the adults are even dressed up, and they really make it a lot of fun and very festive. Very different from when I was a kid.
I remember growing up with Purim, it was always just the most fun thing to do because everyone was happening, everything was going everywhere. Purim Day, we drove all over town giving out Shalach Manos. We didn't come back till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You come there and you separate the goodies and be like, well, soda is this, this thing, peanuts is this, that is that. And it was just so much fun just to go around and just giving all the Shalach Manos and exchanging gifts and whatnot. And hearing Haman was great. I really enjoyed it. I had of course everyone had, the fire caps for the guns. That was always a delight. That was always awesome. Mm-hmm. Even if my costume didn't require a gun, I still wanted a cap gun. I was like, I'll get one. That was always good. I never dressed up as a clown though. I always look back and think I dressed up as so many things throughout the years, but I never dressed up as a clown.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, what were some things you dressed up as? What stands out in my mind is that caveman's costume. That was really
We've talked about that. We've talked about it on this podcast. About that in one of our
episodes. Yeah. That was pretty hysterical. But I like I remember there was one year where the man who was reading the Megillah made a big mistake. He had mispronounced one of the words or didn't read one of the words, found out about it later. And so a lot of us at the shul had to come back for another Megillah reading. Just before the Seudah, we said, we'll come like an hour before the Seudah. That way, we won't be having to go back and forth. Because that year they were having the Purim Seudah in the shul for everybody. And so we all sat down, and before he started, I forgot, a couple people said to him, "You mess up this time, we're going to lynch you."
Oh God. Jeez. What was your first?
But one thing about Purim, one of the challenges that I had as a mother of Purim during Purim is trying at least to get you kids when you wake up in the morning, at least to eat a decent breakfast before you started on all the candy and everything. And you know what? It wound up being a losing battle. It was like, it's Purim. Don't even look at what they're eating. Forget it.
It's the holiday season. And this year it's going to be, what's it called? It's going to be St. Patrick's Day too.
Well, one of your brothers, actually went to Dublin one year to see St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And wow, it was very interesting. He said it was like did we ever talk about this on one of our podcasts? I don't think so. St. Patrick's Day in Dublin.
Oh, no, he never did.
Okay. So he was telling me that, first of all, he says it's really a big international festival. He says there are people there from all over the world. He saw Israelis. In fact, he saw a group of from Jewish boys from New York that came. He says people from all walks of life come from all corners of the world to come to Dublin for St. Patrick's Day. And he said the festivities start. He sent me a video. I remember I was at work, and he sent me a video while I was at work, showing me what was going on. He says the partying and the carousing start 8:00. All the bars are open, and I don't know if it's free open bar or not.
It's probably
but he says
not.
All the bars. Well, he says all the bars are open, and there's bands playing in all the bars, and it goes from 8:00 at night to 10:00 the next morning. He said they do play some Irish folk music, but when he sent me the videos, the majority of the music that they play is really American rock music. And one of the videos he sent me was 2:00 in the morning, and they were playing Sweet Caroline.
Oh,
and
gosh.
Everybody in the bar was totally special. You hear people singing Sweet Caroline.
Wop, wop, wop.
Well, he told me when he first got there to Ireland, he said, let's put it this way, they don't call these people the Fighting Irish for nothing. He saw two Irishmen get into a fight. And he said he saw one Irishman hit the other so hard, the guy fell on the sidewalk. And let's put it this way, I think he needed brain surgery after that.
Wow.
So your brother is no wimp. I mean, we know he was in one of the elite forces of one of the armies. I'm not going to say which.
Yeah, whatever.
He's no wimp. We get it. He took karate, Krav Maga. He knows his stuff. After he saw that, he said he decided that there was no way on the face of the earth he was going to get into any fights with any Irishman. He would avoid them at all costs. So he said later on that night, he was sitting at the bar, and this very pretty girl comes over and she sits next to him and she starts to talk to him. Well, this Irishman comes over to him and says to him, "Hey, mate, that's Miguel." Your brother said he stood up, he put his hands up and said, "Yes, sir," and walked away.
Oh, wow.
He said later on, there was a group of yeshiva boys that had come there from New York. And he said there were some Irishmen that started up with them. So these yeshiva boys said to these, they said to these Irish boys, "You want to take this outside?" And the Irish boy said, "Sure." And your brother tried to stop them. He got a hold of these boys. He goes, "Don't do this." He says, "You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Don't do this." He said, "Don't go out there. Don't fight with these guys. It's not worth it." And these young yeshiva boys said, "Come on, we can handle ourselves, yada, yada." Well, your brother said 15 minutes later, when these boys came back into the bar, broken noses, black eyes. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's same here. I mean, I had my own experience dealing with, fights here and there in Israel and things like that. And I don't know, certain things I walked away from. Like this one guy had a machete. He was swinging it like crazy.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, I'm not dealing with that. I walked away. Luckily, the cops came and got the guy down. The other thing is, and I think people outside of the Jewish community and people outside of Israel don't understand that there's certain types of police called Yasamnikim who their whole job is to bust heads. They don't care who you are, literally. They do not care. You are in an area and they need to go ahead and disperse the crowd and you're near there, they will crack your head open, no questions about it. And they literally don't care who you are. Yeah, as a matter of fact, there was this one video that came about, I think earlier this week. There was I think it looked like it was this Arab or Palestinian girl who was fighting these Isamnikim. And the Isamnikim, like, they just grabbed her and just started beating her and then throwing her to the side. And people were all up in arms and freaking out about it. I'm like, these guys are Isamnikim. They don't care who you are. They will beat you. Like, this is serious stuff. You know, like, I remember one time there was a fight going on, and I was a little bit involved and just trying to like calm the peace. And I saw the Isamnikim show up. Once they were there, I booked it. I wasn't going to waste my time because they're not going to question the seeker who started or what's going on. Whoever's there is going to get their head cracked in.
Oh my gosh! Do these guys wear special uniforms? Can you tell who they are before they come?
Yes, they wear. It's funny. We joke around about it because they ride in mopeds, 2 per moped. So one person's riding, the other one is holding the other person, and they wear this gear called spider gear, and they have helmets on. They have regular motorcycle helmets on.
Oh,
so they're called. So some people call them spider cops, but in Hebrew they're called Yasamnikim, and they will mess you up. That is no joke.
Man,
yeah, you just stay away from them.
Man, what kind of they must look for these guys with a special mentality to fill this particular role.
I don't know if any of this is true, and people can comment and let me know if this is true or not. But I heard that they take some of the guys who are a little bit rough around the edges, that have like a rough background, and they're the ones that they use. But that could be just like an old wives' tale. They probably have like a whole elite force, and they probably have people that pass all these mental tests and whatnot, and they're probably very normal, totally fine. They just have this job where there's no. I don't know. This is just stuff that I've seen and observed, and what I've been told. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But from what I was told, that they have pure immunity, basically, pretty much, that they can do whatever they need to in order to take care of a crowd, and they're usually used for riots.
Well, the idea of taking basically a street thug, putting a uniform on him and sending him out is not a unique idea. That's what Hitler did with the SS. The SS the test for being in the SS. I don't know if you heard about this. Was they were given a puppy?
Yeah, I don't think Ima, stop. Please stop. Yeah. Stop. Okay. I don't think talking about the SS, talking about the Israeli government is something you want to talk about in comparison.
No, but I'm talking about taking
but that's just,
a street thug and putting a uniform and giving him a job.
I understand that, but I don't think that's a good concept to talk about. I don't think you should be doing that.
Okay, I will not do that then. If you don't want me to do that, I will not do that.
You.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that's okay. Let's lighten up the conversation a little bit.
Well, what was interesting though was I saw in the news that the Ukrainian government is telling Ukrainian prisoners that if they're ones that are able to fight, that they're the ones that they'll release them and put them in the military. That's what's happening right now.
Say that again?
Yep. The Ukrainian government is basically on, I guess, I'm trying to get this. The Ukrainian government basically says that prisoners with combat experience will be released to join the fight against Russia.
Prisoners with combat experience.
Yes.
Yeah, like we were talking about.
Yes.
The idea.
Yes, but again, I'm just trying to stick with a certain path, and you kind of take it and run a different way, and I'm trying to get you back onto the thought, by the way, my process.
Yeah, my grandfather's old town was mentioned in one of the news reports.
Oh yeah, what's the old town?
Yeah, Mariupol.
Oh, Mariupol. That sounds very familiar.
Yes, it was mentioned. It was mentioned on a news report. I said, "Wow, it's still there."
So I wasn't sure if we had family in Ukraine. I know we had family in Hungary and Poland and Austria.
Well, your father's side, I think, was
In Russia too, right?
Yeah. Tati's side wasn't. I think Bobby Donna's side was the Ukraine. Come to think of it, yeah.
Okay.
And his father's side was Austria and Premierland, like Austria-Hungary. Yeah, come to think of it, right. My family was, of course, what is today northern Poland was at that time considered northern Russia, and Ukraine and perhaps Hungary. We're not sure, but they were talking about like certain towns that they were just mentioning certain towns around Kiev that people were where people were fleeing, interviewing people, and they did mention Mariupol.
Would you? I mean, not now, of course, but would you ever want to go to these old Yiddish towns and just walk around them and kind of like reminisce?
Well, I understand Mariupol is not necessarily Yiddish. Mariupol it's a regular like small city outside of. Yeah, I used to say Kiev, but they understand now that was the Russian pronunciation, and now people, to show solidarity with the Ukrainians, are not pronouncing it Kiev; they're pronouncing it Kiev.
Kiev. Yeah.
Yes. Kiev.
Okay.
So I don't know. We can lighten up the conversation. I know how to do it. I'll play the theme song again. There we go.
Wonderful. And that concludes our episode. Jeez, I hope everyone enjoyed the train wreck. Any questions or comments, please leave it on our Facebook page or give us a call, ring.
I don't care. I'm not interested in any criticism. I refuse to be criticized.
And you can't grow as a person.
Yes, but I think it's worth the sacrifice.
Okay. All right. Whatever you need to do. All right, I love you. Have a good Shabbos.
Love you, honey. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook at Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. I know you would like it, and my mother would too.